While Philip Hammond delivered his statement in Parliament, activists gathered outside to protest against the government's handling of Brexit. They called for Article 50 to be triggered immediately. Marty's Anastasia Cherikina was there.
It has, in fact, been 5 months since the June 23rd referendum where the country did decide to leave the European Union. And here today we see a couple hundred people gathered outside Parliament, and things are quite fired up here today. We have speakers here, cars passing by, honking. The crowd is, in fact, quite outraged at the fact that it's been so long and nothing has really happened in terms of the Brexit process moving along. There was a little bit of movement here earlier with people trying to march, although they were promptly returned back to the square by police. And we've been talking to people here today, and what they want is for Article 50 to be triggered immediately.
Politicians are stalling the process. They should trigger Article 50 straight away.
The English people, the UK people, have voted overwhelmingly to leave. This Parliament here is holding it up all they can.
There are lots of people out there who want to undo the will of the people.
It's not only about the UK. We believe that if Britain will leave, it's showing the way for the whole European nations that they can have a decision on their own. Polish, French, Spanish, Greece.
It's a little bit like the American election, you know, they were so sure Trump wouldn't win. And now they were so sure that Remain would win. They didn't make a contingency plan for the in case they lost.
There's an attempt to undermine that referendum result. There's an attempt to try and smear people. These are decent people. We're all decent people who share British decent values. And there's an attempt going on to try and undermine us and portray us in a negative fashion. And secondly, to use loopholes in the law to try and prevent Article 50 from being enacted. That's clearly what's going on at the moment, and people are angry about it.
During these last 5 months, of course, we have seen politicians in the UK debating how exactly to go about moving the process along, but the people gathering here on the street who want out of the EU saying it's just not good enough. We do know that today Theresa May yet again said that Article 50 would be triggered by March. Let's take a listen.
The vote was held, the turnout was high, the public gave their verdict. There must be no second referendum, no attempt to weasel out of this. This is the government that will deliver on the vote of the British people.
Of course, we do know that Theresa May has been saying ever since the referendum that Brexit means Brexit. But people we've been talking to here today are getting a little bit tired of that because they don't see the process moving along. We do know that the High Court here in the UK did decide that there's not going to be a triggering of Article 50 until the MPs get to speak on this issue. People here are not happy with that. We do know that the government is appealing that decision. And all of the protesters that are gathered here today think Article 50 should have been essentially triggered the following day after the referendum. And we do know that in the EU, officials have also been saying that the country, Britain, really cannot get it both ways. They can't eat the EU cake and eat it too, and can have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And this is exactly what this protest is about, with people really not quite happy with the fact that it's taken so long, and this is something that they thought would be happening much quicker, and they want the government to act immediately.